There is not a single course or podcast or book or video or guru that you follow that could shortcut or skyrocket your success if you don't actually apply the things that they're suggesting that you do. The fact is, your learning loop might be the thing that is holding you back from seeing the success that you aspire to in your business. But never fear, the ADHD Mompreneur is here to help you to understand why it is that us ADHDers love to learn, how our learning habits might be holding us back from growth, and what you can do so that you can stop learning and start taking action. All of that on today's episode of the ADHD Mompreneur. But before I dive into why you should be doing more as opposed to learning more, I'd love for you to learn a little bit about me in case you're new here. My name is Christy Lingo, and I am an executive function and accountability coach for ADHD mom entrepreneurs who are looking to juggle building a successful business with raising a family and maintaining their homes. I've learned a lot, probably a little too much, during my 16-year journey as an entrepreneur, which started as a professional organizer and then transitioned into my ADHD coaching business in 2019. If you'd like to learn more about my coaching program and how I could help you take action on what you've been learning, visit my website at theadhdmompreneur.com. And while you're there, be sure to pick up my free essential checklists for ADHD mompreneurs to help you remember all the steps, keep track of where you left off, and reduce the number of decisions you need to make during your regular work tasks. So be sure to stop by theadhdmompreneur.com today to check out my program and pick up your free checklists. A few weeks back, I received a text message from one of my clients asking if I had any resources for her about improving her mindset. And normally, I would be all about sharing resources to support my clients to get them to the next level, whether it would be something for their business, something for their family, or something for themselves. But since I had been working with this client for several months, I knew that back at the beginning of the year, she had done an extensive business alignment workbook to help her lay out her goals going forward and work on the mindset she needed around tackling her goals and setting up boundaries. That business alignment workbook that she put all that time and energy and effort into completing back in December addressed some of the very mindset issues that she was currently struggling with. So rather than continuing the cycle of learning but no action, my suggestion to her was to review the business alignment workbook to see if there were any steps that she could take that she had already thought about doing, rather than completely reinventing the wheel with a new technique. So let's start out today with a little exploration of the ADHD learning trap and why it is that so many of us ADHDers love to learn. To start, those of us with ADHD tend to gravitate towards learning goals, which focus on developing skills or increasing your knowledge, because there's a near instant reward when you have learned something new or increased a skill, meaning that you get a little hit of dopamine. But see, there are also performance goals which focus on a specific outcome and may take a little bit longer to achieve. And since patience, motivation, follow through, and consistency all require quite a bit of executive function, it makes sense that those of us with ADHD would lean towards our learning goals and those immediate rewards. Because when you learn something, you have met your learning goal, meaning you get a reward, which is a hit of dopamine, and it makes you feel like you're making progress. But in reality, it's the illusion of progress. What you are actually experiencing is probably productive procrastination or procrastivity, which makes you feel like you're progressing when you are actually just learning and staying in the same place. You also may be experiencing a fear around doing something wrong, or that you aren't quite ready yet, or that there might be another or better solution out there. A few weeks back, we talked about decision-making and analysis paralysis, which is when you get stuck in the loop of continuously learning, but not making a choice or taking some action. And if you're stuck in that analysis paralysis learning loop, there's a very good chance it could be attributed to a fear of failure, or not knowing what to do, or worrying that there is a better solution out there. So this fear keeps us stuck instead of progressing forward. Another way you might experience analysis paralysis is if you just have too much information. Too much information can lead to overwhelm with too many choices, or the inability to make a decision because there's too many choices, or the inability to take action because there's too many choices. And inaction is the death of success and growth when it comes to being a business owner. It is a fact that you will not see growth in your business or the success that you want by reading another book, taking another course about making courses, or by watching somebody else's YouTube video or listening to their podcast. You may, however, see growth and success if you actually take action on the things that the book, the podcast, the course, or the creator is teaching you. Getting stuck learning and not doing can also lead to missed income because you aren't putting yourself or your products out there for people to purchase. Increased stress and mental clutter from analysis paralysis and decision fatigue due to too many options. And staying small or stagnating in your business because you aren't making the changes or applying the knowledge that you need to help your business grow. And look, I get how scary it can be to start and run businesses. I have started to with nothing but Google and a whole lot of ideas. I also know how scary it is to put all the time and energy and effort that you have into creating a course and put it out to the world to buy, worrying that nobody's going to buy it from you. And I've also put time and energy and effort into programs and courses that not one single person has purchased. Being an entrepreneur is a lot of trial and error. You'll experience the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. But if you continue to let fear of failure or decision fatigue or the notion that if you just learn the right thing, you'll cut back on the amount of work that you have to do and you'll fast track your success, you are going to stay stuck. That's just the facts. So what can you do to stop learning and start doing? Let's wrap up today with some ADHD-friendly ways that you can start to take action and gain momentum so that you can grow your business and your income. First up, set a learning limit. There are a couple of ways that you can set limits on how much you are learning before you take action. You may want to set a due date for making a decision or a date to stop the flow of information from coming in. You may want to set a limit on the amount of sources you consult before developing your plan or considering your next steps. You may want to find an accountability buddy or a coach like me to help you weed through all the information that you're learning and decide which parts would be best to apply to your next steps. Next up, embrace messy action. If you're an entrepreneurial knowledge junkie like me, there's a very good chance that you've heard the term messy action in our little business owning circles. But in case you haven't, think of it as taking steps forward before you've perfected your plan or figured everything out. Because I guarantee you, even with the perfect, most researched, most well thought out plan for your business, there is going to come a time down the road where you are going to have to edit or change or replace what you've spent this time planning. It might be in 2 weeks. It might be in 2 years. But I can tell you that there is not one thing in my coaching business that is the same as it was when I started in 2019, except for my logo. My website has changed. My program offerings have changed. My pricing has changed. My social media and marketing strategies have changed. So if you know that it's probably going to change anyways, why not embrace the idea of taking action before you've perfected it, since even the perfect version is probably going to change? It's much better to take some action than no action. And finally, celebrate small wins. Remember back at the beginning when I said that us ADHDers tend to lean into learning goals because of that immediate dopamine reward we get for accomplishing our goal and learning something. It's a positive reaction to the action that we have taken. This means that it is super important for us to train our brains that taking action and doing the things that we said we're going to do is a positive experience, even if that action isn't the last step in the process. When you celebrate taking action, even for the smallest of actions, you start to create positive neural pathways around the idea of taking action, even if that action doesn't see immediate results. Because you're celebrating the fact that you followed through and took action, not that your idea, task, or project yielded the success that you were looking for. To wrap up today, I want to emphasize that if you are stuck in a learning loop, it doesn't mean that you are lazy or unmotivated. It actually may mean that your brain is trying to protect you. Our brains, especially the ADHD ones, are always looking for the quickest means to an end and the easiest way to find rewards. But don't forget that you are allowed to start messy. You don't need more information. You need to have some faith in yourself. And if that feels like too much, I'd love to help and support you. Visit bit.ly/TAM Clarity Call to schedule your free, no obligation call with me to see how my programs and your goals can work together for you to see the success that you know is possible. You can find a link to book your call in the show description. And while you're down there, be sure that you've hit the like, follow, or subscribe buttons so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes, like next week, where we are going to discuss how to balance mom life and work life during the summer without FOMO. Until then, keep making your ADHD journey part of your success story. If you're a business owning mom with ADHD, you're going to need to grab my free customizable essential checklists for ADHD mompreneurs by visiting bit.ly/checklists for ADHD mompreneurs or by following the link in the episode description. Do it now before you forget. Until next time,